Ahoy tubesters, welcome to the Bougie Mystic. I'm Auron Forsong, and I'm going to be doing this voiceover while you see some of the workings and other things that happen in this Imbolc vlog. So right now, I'm preparing it's really just a working candle actually. It's not really going to be any enchanted candle, there's no oil, no herbs, nothing. I just need an open flame. In the back, you can see I have a little cauldron. This has white sand in it. This is gonna help me later with grinding. It's also a little nicer on the soil, so if it was salt, it could end up sterilizing the roots and the plants, and I didn't want to do that, so I used a sand base. Basically what this is going to be, this is something I've done repeatedly, especially during Imbolc season. It's just a great releasement work. It just uses cicada skins, and I put in some petition papers on the inside, and I just burn that. And in this particular version, since I'm using it as part of my Imbolc ritual, I've actually included, as you can see, this blackberry stem and leaf, and I wanted it to have that tie with the Imbolc season. I also used vanilla incense for this light control to control and make the work be made manifest. So you can see that the spirits are active based on the flickering of the candle. This is the petition paper I decided to use. I had some leftover pretty colored water from painting, and I just mixed in one of my glitters that just wouldn't stay closed, and I just kept on like pouring it on some paper until it made this beautiful stain. And I cut it up into strips, and I'm just writing all intentions, all thoughts, emotions, behaviors, mannerisms, irksomes, whatever, that I want banished and out of my life. And here I'm showing you that I'm rolling it away, so that way it's including more of that energy towards banishing it out of my mind, body, and soul. What I really liked about this ritual is that, and yes, I have a very poor memory anyway, but I've really liked how I couldn't even really recall some of the things that I wrote down. And now I can't even recall anything that I wrote down, which is really good. Because to me that means that it's working. You know, usually I'd remember a little something, especially if I spent some time to think about it, but it's like I'm completely stumped. Right here, I forgot what I was looking for, but I was looking for something. I think I dropped a cicada skin or something. So I used my, lighter to try and find it. And so that's one of the cicada skins I have. This was from the first harvest, or I say harvest, but it was a wild foraging that I had from the backyard. We had this big magnolia tree in the backyard when I was living in Illinois. Some of y'all may remember from my other vlogs, especially I think they're on Facebook now. And uh, this is where most of the cicadas would do their molting, and I could just pick it off the trunk of the tree. It was a really beautiful experience. So you can't really see it, but I'm basically stuffing that cicada with it. I'm also showing you these really good witchy tip. These are like, not forceps, but I think they're basically like surgical pliers. I don't know, I just found them in a hardware store. I was like, that's perfect for burning things without burning my hands. So you can see that I stuffed it, I'm holding it by the petition paper, and I'm putting it in the candle flame. What I also found useful is that I would dip it in some of the melted wax at the top of the candle, which would help prolong the burn and really burn it to an ash. So that way I didn't have to worry about any leftover bits. It was completely banished and out of my life. I will say, I said there was no intention behind this candle, but I did use a white candle for projection work because that's traditional in Bohemian tradition. But yeah, you're just gonna see me doing a lot of this because I had a lot to banish. So much. Like, I think I had almost like 20 things, which is the most that I've ever written when doing this type of spell work. But it was really good. It was a really good ritual. It was a really good solemn ritual. There was times where I thought I was gonna get caught, just because of being close to like a parking lot or whatever. But I kind of just, you know, said fuck it. You know what? I'm gonna stay focused on a ritual. I think at one point there was even like someone jogging behind me, and here I realized I forgot to add my crushed red pepper. Originally I used crushed habanero, but crushed red pepper is a good substitute, and since I realized I forgot to add it, I just threw it in at the end.
Those fingers in my hair, that's like come hither stare, that strips my conscience bare. It's witchcraft, and I've got no defense for it. The heat is too intense for it. What good would common sense for it do? 'Cause it's witchcraft, baby. Wicked witchcraft, my lady. And although I know it's simply taboo, give me your witchcraft, baby. Witchcraft, baby. Give me your witchcraft, baby. Witchcraft, baby. Give me your witchcraft, baby. Witchcraft, baby. Give me your witchcraft, baby. Yeah, yeah. When you around, so needing me, my heart says yes indeed to me. Proceed with the word you're leading me to. Yeah, yeah. No, it's such an ancient pitch, but one I wouldn't switch. 'Cause there's no nicer witch than you. 'Cause it's witchcraft, witchcraft, wicked witchcraft, it's witchcraft. And although I know it's simply taboo, witchcraft, baby, witchcraft, baby, witchcraft.
Alright, so in this one, while I was waiting for the incense to finish burning, I decided to start making my Brigid's cross. And I decided to do the 3-armed, or sometimes referred to as the 3-legged cross, just because I see this season as a 3-part season, and I also see this, or see Brigid as a 3-part goddess. But just like this is one seasonal tide, but there's 3 components, spiritual, symbolic components to it, there's 3 components or 3 aspects of the one goddess. And so that's why I really liked this 3-in-1 symbolism. You know, she's tied, at least in my tradition, she's tied to the elements of earth, fire, and water. She's tied to healing, inspiration, and is it healing, inspiration, creativity, I think. It's really cool. I'm gonna have to do a whole video just like talking about her. And then we also have, it's still winter, so there's that crone death-like energy, but then there's the mother energy of the stirring of the roots and the seeds that are planted in the earth. And then there's this cusp and this pre-youthfulness of the maiden with this pre-spring time. It's not fully spring, but it's not really winter anymore. It's this really beautiful liminal transitional time. And it's honestly one of my favorites, and I feel like it's neglected a lot. One of the first ever celebrations I did was an Imbolc ritual, and it was me doing quitting smoking, and I, had a stone altar back then, and I just released it. And it felt really good. It was really good to break that habit. So basically I'm doing the same thing over and over again, and with it being very repetitive and with it being not fully in frame, I just decided to speed through this. I feel like you can still get the gist of what I'm doing. If you want, I'll link Mickey Mueller's video. She talks about good references on how to make it, especially with reeds. So now that I'm done, you can see in the back that my incense is fully finished burning, and I'm just mixing it, and I completely forgot like a stone or anything to mix it with, so I am just using the handle of my scissors. And you can't see this, but I'm leaning over the altar and sprinkling it at the back side. And this is the west. This is what I call the western altar. And it's where I do all release work or leaving of offerings, especially to spirits. And yeah, that's pretty much the ritual. So stick around for part 2 of this Imbolc vlog where I show you my beach and breakfast. So this is what I cooked. It was just some eggs and olives, real fertility based. Over here, I'm showing you just before dawn, I'm walking towards the beach. There is some early birds and wildlife, and I'm gonna show you, we're almost at sunset. It was so cool. So now I'm a little closer to the beach, and I'm showing you the sunset here. When I got there, the sunset had technically started like a couple of minutes, and so I decided, okay, I may not be able to like watch the sunset while I eat, but I'm still at the beach and I'll enjoy the sunset. I also got this burst of inspiration. I don't remember if I filmed it or not, but I got this burst of inspiration to actually just walk like I normally do when I go to the beach. I always just walk straight into the water, and then I'll, usually for some reason, I always walk to the left towards that fence you saw earlier, and then I'll walk back to wherever I went, or sometimes I'll walk the other end of the beach. So yeah, right now I'm just showing you the beach and listening to the sounds of the waves. This is when the sun was really coming over the horizon, and I'm just starting to walk. And you'll even see some of the wildlife. I think there's a clip later on that shows some birds wading in the water. And then I actually found that there was this other little group of birds that were on the beach that were actually the same birds that I saw, what was it, like I think maybe a year or two ago? And they were the ones all grown up, and it was so adorable. This was like a little almost river creek that was being formed by the constant ebb and flow of the water. So it's just making these natural divots in the sand. It was just so beautiful. And then here I found a Yule log looking piece of driftwood. These were those birds that I was talking about. These are the ones that are always in a group, and they're always walking. When they were really young and small, they would scurry away when the tide would come in. But now I guess that they're older, they're not that worried about being washed away. This was the breakfast. Again, the eggs and some donuts and oatmeal with chia seeds. This little bugger kept on trying to steal my freaking food. It was so annoying. I literally threw my sandals at him. This was the poem I've read. This is the first page, and then the next clip is the second page. I think it's just called Early Spring. I don't remember if it said who wrote it or not. It looks like Alfred Lord Tennyson, whoever that is. But it was a really beautiful poem and really perfect for the Imbolc tide. This is my Book of the Craft with my Imbolc salutation. This was a really cool bridge that I found that is good for liminal space. Some mushrooms that I found and later on wild forage. And yeah, that was my that is the Imbolc vlog, y'all. Thank y'all so much for joining me. It was really interesting doing this voiceover session. I think I'm gonna try and do it again. I don't know how well I did this time, so let me know in the comments below. But thank you for watching me. Tell me also how you thought about it and what you did for Imbolc. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, hojni i wični. Para vám Mwah.